Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sitting on the floor because I am getting over COVID and I feel really tired and I can't stand up for long periods of time. So I'm sitting on my floor and I'm about to show you all of the books that I've hauled over the past few months. I think this is my first book haul in the new house, which is really exciting. Some of these were impulse purchases, some of these were pre-orders that I ordered like last year in the old house and they've arrived. But I'm really excited to show you what I have. I've sort of categorized them a little bit into like genre categories very roughly, and I'll like leave the timestamps down below if you want to skip to anything in particular as well. But first up, I really want to get to this one because I want to put it away. But I ended up getting Crescent City, or House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas. This is the third and possibly final book in the Crescent City trilogy, and I've already read this. I absolutely loved it. I swapped the dust jackets out because the other one arrived damaged, but I got the Waterstones edition of it, so it's got a bonus chapter. And because I pre-ordered as well, I pre-ordered in Australia and I sold like my spare copy just because I didn't want to miss out on one of these. I ended up getting one of these like bonus booklets. I think in Australia, if you pre-ordered through Dimmicks, like there was only like 300 like versions of these altogether to like give away, and I ended up getting one of them. I won't tell you whose bonus chapter this is because I guess potential spoilers, but like I wanted the Crescent Moon one and I got it and I'm so happy. I would have been really happy with this one or the Sword, and I know people out there have like, you know, pre-ordered like 5 copies to get all of them, but I'm not doing that. I don't have that kind of money or energy to resell them. But I managed to get this and I am so happy with it. So I'm going to put this away because I feel like this is like a piece of gold right now in the book community. And then next up I have this hardback copy of The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is the beautiful Bramble edition that has like, this is a standard edition like of the book, like, and the hardcover is just so pretty. I have been waiting for this to arrive in the mail since like October last year. I think I first ordered this. First it went missing in the post and I had to get like a refund credit and order a new one, and then this one literally it took so long to get here. But I finally have it. This is one of my new favorite fantasy series. I read this for the first time last year and I loved it. It is about Araya, who is the adopted human daughter of the vampire king, and she ends up taking part in like this sort of Hunger Games-esque sort of trial where a bunch of vampires take part in order to get granted one wish. And obviously she's also human, so she not only has to survive it in general, but she also has to survive because she's a human. It's a fantasy romance. I loved it so much. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars, and honestly like I would be fully willing to just like collect copies of this book if I could, but special editions are just like a lot. Then I ended up getting The Endless War by Danielle Jensen, and okay, I didn't realize that this was book 4 in a series, and I got it, I think Big W had like a half price sale, and I was like, oh my god, I've been wanting to read this. I've seen it around, and it turns out it's the 4th book in the series. I probably should have waited, but I do have the first book, The Bridge Kingdom, on its way to me. I mean, I don't want to read the back because obviously I don't want to spoil myself, and I'm waiting for book 1 to arrive. So pretend book 1 is also in this haul because it should literally be on its way to me like tomorrow, but I just didn't want to wait to film this video. Then I have Harper Soul by Olivia Atwater, and this one just sounds so beautifully written, and I've heard really good things about this one. I think Books and Lala read this as well and she really enjoyed it. And if you're new here, I am a big fan of books on Lola, and we have a lot of similar reading tastes, or at least I think we do anyway. So I decided to pick this one up. It is a fantasy romance, I think, but it's also sort of like got a historical setting, and I believe it's not like your typical like fantasy romance like this or Sarah J Maas. It's very much more low-key. It follows Theodora Ettings, who was cursed by a fairy and has a condition where she doesn't have any sense of fear or embarrassment, and it makes her prone to scandal. Then she takes part in the London marriage season, and her curse is discovered, and she ends up getting mixed with this lord, and it goes from there. But I don't know, I have a really good feeling about this one, and I think there is a sequel as well, but I don't think it's out yet. So I'm very, very excited to finally read that one as well at some point. Then I have Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, also by Carissa Broadbent. I am just like obsessed with the Crowns of Nyaxia world, and this is a standalone set in that world. I don't know the specifics about this one. All I know is that I love Carissa Broadbent's writing. I love this world. I love her characters and how she writes. Even Six Scorched Roses, which was the novella in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, that was so good and so well done and so well written, and so I'm definitely excited for this one. Then I have How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly, and I remember, I swear I saw this on TikTok like a few months ago, and I didn't know it was being traditionally published, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, I've been like meaning to read that and like get a hold of it anyway, and so I decided to pick this one up. It is another fantasy romance, like this whole category is so far. So this one follows Callie, who is a biologist, and she finds herself falling into a fairy portal after a research trip goes really, really wrong. Then she ends up meeting the Unseelie Prince, yeah, the Unseelie Fae Prince, who thinks that she is an assassin come to kill them. And based on that description, I'm assuming it's enemies to lovers, but I've heard mostly good things about this one. But when I was looking it up on Goodreads, it was a bit mixed, but I do feel like that's the case with a lot of books that get really popular on TikTok and that end up being traditionally published later anyway. Like obviously the more hype something gets, the more mixed reviews you're gonna get, so I don't mind, and that hasn't put me off. Oh my god, oh cute, this is signed. Well, it's like, it's a digital signature and it's like a letter from the author, but that's so cool. Sorry, had to change my battery. Next I have A Feather So Black by Lyra Celine, and this was sort of like another whim purchase, I'm not gonna lie. I hadn't actually heard of this when I picked it up, and I still haven't heard that much about it, if I'm being completely honest. It follows a changeling named Fia, who is tasked by the High Queen to find her daughter, and then she ends up meeting a prince, and there's like a forbidden romance aspect from there. So it sounds like a really cool adventure, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I still haven't heard much about this, but the cover, like I think it was the colors that kind of did it for me, and that attracted me to pick this book up in the first place, because I just think it's so beautiful, and I'm really excited to see if this is a new series that I end up liking. Then I have another Danielle Jensen book. This one is A Fate Inked in Blood, and this is the first in her new series. I didn't accidentally buy book 4 of another series, don't worry. And this one is a first edition. It has like blue sprayed edges. I think the US version has like metallic edges, but this is just like plain blue. But I'm still really happy with it. I think it's so pretty. This one is a Norse-inspired fantasy romance following a woman named Freya, and I don't know too much apart from that, but I honestly do not mind. A fun fact about me is that my favorite game of all time is the 2018 version of God of War, and that is based on Norse mythology as well. And after playing that game for the first time a few years ago, I went down like a Norse mythology rabbit hole, and so now like anytime I see like a Norse mythology inspired like fantasy, I just get so excited. I haven't read like too many still, but honestly, like the Norse fantasy romance aspect of it alone sold it to me, and also like the cover is just beautiful, and I'm really excited for this, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to read this. I think it's going to be so good. Next up, I'm going to tell you about the YA books that I ended up getting. So first off, I have Cinder and Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is books 1 and 2 in the Lunar Chronicles, and this is a really old YA series. Like this is like classic YA, but I never read this like way back when it first came out, and I was there like when it was really hyped and as the books were coming out as well, but I just never picked them up. I came across these in a thrift shop for like $2 or $3 each, and so I decided I've always wanted to read these, and they have been on my wish list for so long, and I've just never bought them because I'm like, what if I don't like them and I've just spent all this money on like this really old like YA series. And so I found the paperbacks of them, and I think this is book 1 and 2. I'm trying to think of an excuse to read these in like a reading vlog, so keep an eye out for that. But I will probably do like a reading vlog where I read like old school YA. I think Witty Novels did something like that recently as well, but I've got a few things that would meet that criteria, including these ones, so keep an eye out for that. Then I have a couple of special editions which I am so happy about. So I decided to get Shatter Me by Tahera Murphy. This beautiful edition has like these gorgeous sprayed edges, and it's got like a ribbon bookmark and everything, and it's just so pretty. This one I think was done by Waterstones, and it's a Waterstones exclusive, I think. I've only read the first 3 books, like the original trilogy of this series, but I really love them, and I do really want to reread them at some point as well. But I just had to get like this beautiful copy because I just think it's so gorgeous. Then I have another special edition, and this one was actually really hard to get a hold of, and it was technically not even the one that I wanted, but I'm still happy with it, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And this is like the edition where it has like the beautiful slipcase and everything, and it is absolutely stunning. So I didn't realize that there was this edition and a edition that had like the velvet, because I wanted the velvet one, but I think this is the one that's sold in Australia, but it is still so pretty, and it's got the black spread edges, and it's got this artwork on the end pages. I cannot deal with this. Like, this is just so beautiful, and I'm so happy to have a copy of this. And this was like really hard to track down as it was, so even if it doesn't have like the velvet, like I'm still so happy to have this. And I just love like a special edition that has the slipcase. I just think they are gorgeous, and it's like all black. Oh. Then I have the entire Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy in hardcover. Oh my god, these were a mission to get. So I read the first 2 in paperback, and I really enjoyed them, and I'm like, I really want to get the hardcovers to match my Caravel series, because I have that series in the original UK hardcovers, and I know it's like silly, but like I just really wanted them to like match and like be like a set. And so this technically isn't a matching set. Like this is like a mishmash of random like UK hardcover editions, but I'm still so happy with it. And so I got this version of Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I managed to find a secondhand copy of the Fairy Loot edition of Ballad of Never After. This one was actually quite cheap, all things considering, because it is technically damaged, but I don't mind. Like, I just wanted this to display on my shelves, and so I could see the beautiful artwork. Like, and also I was actually just after a copy of Ballad of Never After full stop, and so to get the Fairy Loot edition technically was just a bonus. So like I am actually really happy with that. And then I just got the standard hardcover of A Curse for True Love. So they're not anything fancy, but like these were still a mission to get a hold of, and I managed to get them pretty cheap considering how much this whole series just resells for, regardless of whether it's special edition or not. Like what people are reselling this series for is insane. So I'm just really grateful that I didn't end up spending like an arm and a leg just to get these, and I'm obsessed with them. I'm really glad I have these in hardcover. And then finally I have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I'm actually technically in the middle of reading this one and I'm really enjoying it so far. I got this one at the beginning of the year, I think, and I got this at the same time as Shatter Me because this was so hard to find in hardcover and it was sold out everywhere, or it was like ridiculously expensive to get, and I just wanted the normal edition, but I managed to get it from Waterstones thankfully, and so it was still like a little bit more, but like it wasn't that bad. And this, I'm just like, it's so pretty, and like I just love this cover. This has been marketed as a YA fantasy romance, but I would say from what I've read so far, this is pretty light on the fantasy, but also I'm not like too far into it. But it follows the two main characters, Iris and Roman, who work for the same newspaper company, and they're kind of like workplace rivals, if you will, and they end up kind of accidentally sending each other enchanted letters, and they go back and forth. And yeah, I don't know where this is going so far because like I said, I'm not too far into it, but I am enjoying it so much. So to mix it up a little bit, I have some horror, thriller, and then some literary like general fiction to show you. So first up I have When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller. I believe this is about the gentrification of Brooklyn, and it has like a little kind of a thrilling twist on it. Obviously I don't know what that is because I haven't read it yet, but I've heard so many good things about Alyssa Cole in general. But I think she writes mostly romance, and I think, yeah, A Princess in Theory, I really want to read that as well, but I decided to pick up her thriller first just because I feel like, I don't know, like I'm on the lookout for more thrillers that I might enjoy, and this one really stood out to me. It says Rear Window, don't know what that is, meets Get Out, and I love Get Out as well, and I just think it's gonna be like a really interesting and great thriller. I'm hoping it is anyway. I've heard really great reviews. Then I have Chlorine by Jade Song. This one is a sapphic horror novel and it is about mermaids. It says Ren Yu is a swimmer. Her daily life starts and ends with the pool. Ren grew up on stories of the creatures of the deep, of a creature dangerous, powerful, liberated, the creature that she has always longed to become, a mermaid. And I think like she literally becomes a mermaid in this case. I believe this one has themes of obsession as well, and I'm just like really intrigued by this one. I haven't heard too many people talk about this one, but the people who I have seen talk about this are obsessed with it and loved it, so I knew I had to pick it up. I'm obsessed with the cover and I'm very excited to get to this one hopefully soon. And then I have Monstero by Gerardo Samano Cordova, and this one is like another quiet horror, I think, that explores grief and family. And from memory it is about a little boy who dies, and I believe he turns into Monstero, and I don't know too much else apart from that. It has big themes of grief, and I've heard it is really haunting and really beautiful, and it's got gorgeous writing. I'm just really excited to read this one, and I'm hoping it's going to be a new favorite of mine. Then I have The Gilda Stories by Jewel Gomez. Now this one is probably one of my most recent pickups, and I've never heard of this before, but apparently this was published in 1991. It starts off in Louisiana in the 1850s, where a young girl escapes from slavery, and she runs into two women with promises to share the blood and to live forever, and they name her Gilda. So it follows Gilda over the span of about 200 years during the black women's suffrage movements and the jazz scene as well. And I think it's like a bunch of stories about Gilda, but I could be wrong. But regardless, I am so intrigued by this, and I'm not gonna lie, like the cover really caught my eye and the colors, but as soon as I saw that it was like black vampires, I was like, yes, this sounds so cool. And I've never heard of it before, but I'm so excited to get started with this one. Like, I think it sounds so good. Then I only have a couple of lip fic, but the first one is Lola in the Mirror by Trent Dalton. Now this one I did get, and I started it for a book club that we have at work, but I only got 70 pages in, and I'm gonna be so honest with you, I'm probably not gonna finish this book. Actually, I'm going to take my bookmark out. This is about a girl and her mother who have been on the run for 16 years, and she has always been houseless, and it's set in Brisbane, I believe, as well, so it is in Australia. And I got to a point in this book where an event happens. It is like at the start, but the event that happens, it wasn't exactly what happened in my real life, but there was something very similar that happened in my personal life that kind of reflected the early stages of this novel a little bit too much, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this, to be honest. But from what I read, like, I really liked it, and it's got like pictures and everything as well. Like, it's sort of like a multi-format novel, but I'm probably going to end up unhauling this. But yeah, because of the events that happened at the time that I was reading this novel and like how kind of similar they were, I just don't think I can do it personally. But it was good from what I've read so far. Then I have Come and Get It by Kylie Reid. This one, I don't even know what this is about, to be honest. Like, I just got this one because I read Such a Fun Age by the same author, and I ate it up. Like, I loved that book so much. It follows Millie, who wants to graduate, get a job and buy a house, and she's slowly saving up. And then it follows Agatha, who is a writer and recovering from a bad breakup, and she is researching attitudes towards weddings and money for her new book. And then the two end up meeting, I assume, and it's meant to explore desire and consumption and money in general. And I'm just really excited for it. Like, I just loved the writing in Such a Fun Age so much, so I just immediately picked this up as soon as I was able to. Okay, so the last part of this book haul are all romance books, and I've got a fair amount here, but I think they're all good ones and ones that I'm really excited for. So first up, I have Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and I have already read this one. I actually really enjoyed this one, and I do really like all of Ali Hazelwood's books in general. Like, I just have so much fun with them, and I really vibe with her writing. And I was really curious about this one because it's her first like foray into paranormal romance, and I was a bit unsure about it because I'd heard some things about it, like, and to do with the Omegaverse, and it was my first sort of foray into the Omegaverse, but I personally still really enjoyed it for the most part. I did do a reading vlog where I read this one, I believe, but it follows Misery, who is a vampire, and Lo, who is a werewolf, and they are kind of on opposite sides, and they end up entering a marriage of convenience. And there's lots of politics in here as well, or the politics of their world. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was good. Then I have all of these Abby Jimenez books, and so I have Part of Your World, and I got this one because I picked up Yours Truly, not realizing it was the second book in like the companion series. So I got this one, and I'm hoping to pick this one up really soon. But I also got The Friend Zone, Life's Too Short, and her most recent one, Just for the Summer. And I don't know what each of these is about, and should I have bought all of her books before reading a single one? Probably not, but I don't know, I've just got a really good feeling that I'm gonna love her writing. And apparently a lot of her romances are very like plot heavy as well and character heavy, which is what I really like reading about, especially in romances as well. So I'm really hoping that this is really my jam, and I've just heard so many good things about all of her books, so I'm very, very excited to pick these ones up. Then I have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This is her most recent release. This is a spin-off, I believe, off of the Flawless series or the Chestnut Hill series, which I also haven't read yet. I'm really excited to read this one. I'm hoping I like her stuff anyway, and I do really need to get around to Flawless finally, but I ended up getting this one and I'm excited to see what I think of her writing. Then I have That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. Can we just like appreciate this cover? Like, this is maybe one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm obsessed with this. I love this so much. This one is book 1 in the Mead Mishaps series, and it follows the main character Fallon, who I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the novel is literally drunk, and she ends up saving a demon and falling in love with him. And I've heard it's really, really fun. I've heard it's got great writing. I am just like so hyped for this book, and I cannot wait to see what this is like, and I'm so intrigued by the title, the cover, like everything about this just screams fun to me, and I'm so excited to get into it. So sorry, my battery died again. This is what happens when I don't fully charge my batteries and I only half charge them. Anyway, I'm almost done. So can't remember what I was saying about this one, but I'm really excited for it. And then I have all of these by Jody McAllister. I have Here for the Right Reasons, Can I Steal You for a Second, and Not Here to Make Friends. And these are all romances set in the world of reality TV, and it's all like standalone romances just interconnected, and I am just like really excited for these. I heard about them and I think Jamie's Library was talking about it and got me really excited for it, because I am a fiend for reality TV as well. I just love the sound of these and how each of them apparently is set on this reality TV show and follows like a different couple. And I think this one, yeah, this one I think is sapphic as well, and I don't know, like I'm really excited for it. This one has only just come out really recently as well, and these are like the first two before this one. Then finally I have Sweet Hand by Angie Peltier, and this one is part of the Island Bites series, and this one I also found on Facebook Marketplace for like $6, and it's also been on my like TBR wish list for so long, and so I saw it and I was like, okay, I'll get that one as well. I think I got this from the same person who sold me this one as well, so I got these two at the same time and I'm so happy with it. And this one follows Charisse and Kieran, who are in Trinidad at the same time, and it is set in a bakery, and I think they have like a misunderstanding in the past, and then they end up kind of rekindling their relationship and falling in love in a bakery. And I think it sounds so cool, and I'm obsessed with the cover, and I'm really excited for this one. So I'm hoping it's a good one, and I'm so happy to have it as well. I'm going to wrap it up now so I can properly charge both of my batteries before the next time I end up filming. Let me know what books you think I should get to first and what ones you think I should prioritize, because obviously I have added a lot to my TBR here, but I'm so excited for every single one of these. If you enjoy my content, please leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below as well. It would really help me out. I hope you have a fantastic day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.